Hey guys, hope you all are doing good. So, welcome to this session on playing with Git and GitHub. What's next? So, this is a conclusive session where we will discuss we will revise all the concepts we have covered till now and look at some what to do next as we have covered all the basics of Git and GitHub. So, this session is organized by Developer Student Club Kite. We are a community of developers who loves to learn, share, and code together. Quick intro of myself. My name is Ritik Srivastav. I am a core team member at DC Kite and a full stack developer. You can find me over the web with Ritikasa25. So let's start the session with today's agenda. So first we will revisit all the concepts we covered in the all the previous sessions. Next we will discuss merging versus rebasing. We will look out how to cherry pick and cherry picking concepts. We will discuss about tags and releases. We will explore GitHub and its features. We will discuss about golden rules for maintaining the clean Git hygiene. And at last we will discuss about contributing to open source. So let's start the session. So I hope we are already clear with the basics of Git, and we have played with working on a repository and working with teams. So if you have not done through this, you can watch the previous sessions of the series. So first let's revisit what we have covered till now. So first, what is Git? So Git is a distributed version control system which you use to track the history of your code base. You want to know what changes was made and track all those changes. Along with this, Git is a distributed system. So distributed means the central repository is there and many developers can work in sync with each other on the same code base. So along with this, Git is a free and open source software, and you can use it to collaborate on your code base. Next, while we start working with Git, we have these basic concepts. So first, we have a working directory, the area in which we, or the folder directory in which we are currently working. So at this stage, Git is not into the system. We add our files to using git add command, and our files are moved to the staging area. Next, in the staging area is an intermediate step between our working directory and repository. So we commit and our changes are finalized, saved as a snapshot in the local repository. So we push our changes to the remote, and from the remote we pull the latest changes by other developers, and at any case we want to undo our commit, we can use git reset. Along with this, we have its status, git log, and git difference. They are commands that we can use any instance of time to check the current status of the repository. Next, we discussed about branching. So in branching, we know branching is a separate working tree that can be derived from the any commit in the whole code base. So suppose this is our master branch, we can derive the branch from here. So we can have any number of branches in our code base, and any branch can be derived from any commit. After this, we discussed about how working happens in teams. So there we have a upstream repository for that is of the organization basically. So we fork the organization repository, we get our origin repository. We clone our origin repository to the local, we get our local repository. And how we work, we make changes on our local, push it to origin, create a pull request to the upstream, and after it is merged or other developers have contributed, we pull the latest changes to our local, and the cycle continues. All right, let's move forward. So after this, we have a ideal GitHub workflow. So it has some basic rules, like we always create a new branch. We don't work directly in the master branch. We work only always on new branch. We add our commits to our newly created branch. After we are done with the local changes, we create a pull request to get a review from our reviewers and maintainers of the repository. Then we discuss and make required changes or whatever. After this, the reviewers and maintainers merge the pull request, and this cycle continues while we work in teams. Next, let's cover some more commands of Git that are generally used. So first, let's discuss about merging and rebasing. So both merging and rebasing, they are used to merge one branch content into another branch. So, but both of these have quite differences between them. So let's consider our initial stage so the current state of our code base is like this. So we have a master branch. and we have a feature branch, right? So we will apply both of these changes and see what is the difference between them. So let's discuss first about merging. So what is merging? The basic difference is that it creates an extra merge commit. So because of this extra merge commit, we do not get a linear commit history, because this extra merge commit appears in the between of other commits. So if we want to perform a merge commit, we have to use a git merge command. So in between the merge command, if we get merge conflicts, we resolve it by resolving our conflicts, add and commit it. So let's do it. I have a VS Code open. Here is a sample repository. So currently we are in our master branch. It has a feature 1 and feature 2 code. So if we log here, you will see our latest commit is feature 1. That is, our head is also here, our upstream is also here, and our origin is also here. So I already have created a branch for checkout for testing merging. So if you check out to a git checkout merging test. So this is our merging branch test. Here is also some demo code that is fetched from that is after our latest master code, and here is some extra code that is we will use for merging. So if you see the git log here, it states that this is our last commit we had in master, and after this we have a one extra commit, that is add merging demo code. So here let's try to merge this merging test branch into our master. So we will go to our master branch, and let's do git merge merging test branch. So here you see the code of merging branch has been merged to our master branch, and here it is showing updating this reference with this reference, and it is a fast forward method. So merging has three methods. Fast forward. Fast forward is applied when no conflicts are there and the author is same. So in this case, to your surprise, if you check the git log here, you will see this add merging demo code is here after this feature 1 code, but to the surprise we are not seeing any extra merge commit here. So why is this? So this is because the history of both the branches is linear, and the author is same in both the cases. So let's see what is the current status of our repository. So at current we have our feature branch merged into our master branch, and there must be merge commit, but since the author is same, we are not getting any merge commit here. Next, let's discuss about rebasing. So rebasing, it is also similar to merge, but the difference is that it rewrites the whole commit history from the starting. So what merging does, it checks where the last common point was there and appends the changes that are not in the first branch to the initial branch. But rebasing compares each and every commit from starting and rewrites it. So we don't get any extra merge commit, and we get a linear commit history with rebasing. So let's try it by git rebase branch name. So we'll again go to our VS Code. Let's try here git rebase rebasing test branch. So before this, if we go to rebasing test branch, this is also a sample code where we have some code written for rebasing demonstration. So it is also fetched from our latest master that was before merging our merging test branch. And if we git log here, there is also after the latest master we have one more commit for that is rebase demo code. So let's go back to our master. Let's git rebase rebasing test here. So here we see after this all the code till now we have we it already merged our code for demonstration of rebasing here. So if we check git log here again, it says this is our rebasing test code and this is our commit. So this commit is was done before this commit, so it is appended in the list. So you can play more with it by using applying merge and rebase commits at different stage in your repository. So let's move forward. So this is how rebasing works. This is our master branch, it has some commits. This is our feature branch. When we rebase it, all the commits of this feature branch will be rebased or added to this master branch, and it will be in a linear history. No extra merge commit is created here. So this was all about merging and rebasing. So let's check our next feature, that is cherry picking. So first, what is cherry picking? Cherry picking is a command that allows us to pick. And so as the name suggests, cherry picking. So we are picking something from a bunch of stuffs or bunch of cherries, and we are pick it and put it somewhere else. So what happens here? We have suppose a commit in a branch, and we want to use that commit in some another branch or another reference. So if we merge all the commits that are in this branch and not in the parent branch will come to the branch. So but if we want only some of the commit, so we use cherry pick to use only that commit which we want. So the question is when to use it. So cherry picking is not generally used in every scenario. There are some scenarios where you use cherry pick. So the first one is team collaboration. So suppose you and your fellow developers are working on the code, and you write some code, and your fellow developer wants that code to be used for another purpose in the code. So to collaborate in the such case, you can commit your this current code, and the other developer can cherry pick only this commit so that he gets the code he wants without disturbing the whole tree. Next scenario can be hot fixes. So suppose you are working on a branch for feature, and you found a bug that is a small bug that you can fix with some suppose it is a typo or some small bug. So you can fix it and commit it, and later cherry pick this commit to your next bug fix branch so that it does not affect your current working. So let's move to the actual thing, how to use it. So for that we use a command get cherry pick and commit id. Let's move forward. Now we have tags and releases. So what is tags and releases? So it is the end stage of of a version of a software development. So suppose you are constantly making changes, and at a time comes when you are ready to ship your build, or you can say deploy your build. So Git and GitHub provides a feature for you to tag this state. So you have heard many times that suppose some app is there, and a version 1.0 is released, and after this they again released version 1.2, and if they found bug version 1.2 is not compatible, then they can easily revert to the version 1.1. So this is how releases used for. So what is release? First, it is I have developed my software. Let's package it. Let's compile all the binary files, add our change logs, and release this. So how to create a release? We can use either GitHub visual user interface, or we can use command line. So let's use this in a sample repo project by using GitHub GUI. So suppose this is our sample repository, and at this point of time we are ready to create a release of our project. So here will on the right you will see options for releases. We will create a new release and type here our tag version, type our release title, and attach the description. So here it is showing all the things that we need to take care. So how semantic versioning is used here. So semantic versioning is standard method of versioning our software. So here is a quick guide, and if you want in depth learn more about how semantic versioning is done, so you can visit this official site samwork.org. and here we will find all the details how some semantic versioning works. So here suppose the version is 2.0.0. So this 2 it is a major version. So major version is happens when every suppose most of the things in the software has changed, and we cannot go back to use our previous version if we have released this version. Next, this 0 is minor version. It generally occurs when you add some features or you are updating some features in your project. Next, this is a patch version. So patch versions are basically for small changes like hot fixes or hot updates. Here, point to note, this is a major version, and we need to you change only this only in scenarios when our software is completely changed and the previous version of this cannot be used. And both of these are for feature updates and hot fixes. So if you go back to our repository, let's create a tag version as v1.0.0. You can add the release title. So let's say it is first release, and here you can also type date for clarification. It's up to you how you create the release title. And here we write a short description about what changes we have made in this version, or what is the difference features we are adding this version. So after this we can add some files. Suppose it is an Android application, so we can add our APK here and all the binary files related to the project. After this we can simply publish this version. So you will see here this is the first release create is already created. It has a tag that is v1.0.0, and it has zipped all the codes that we used in our source code. So our source code is here present in a zip folder, and later we can easily revert back to this stage if we found anything. So after releasing, here you will find this first release is created here, and you will see all the releases that we create here in the list. So another way to do is through a command line. So simply we go to our git bash or terminal and type this git tag -a version and commit id. So if you want to read further about how tags and releases works in GitHub and how we can improve all the functionalities, you can go to this documentation and you will find everything about tags and releases. So all the references and links will be provided in the description of the video. So our next thing is golden rules for clean Git hygiene. So everyone loves cleanliness and tidiness. So here are some rules which we follow, and our Git hygiene will be clean. So it basically it will mean that it is easy to understand and it is a formal level. So the first thing is that master branch is always ready to deploy. That's why we don't generally work directly in the master branch, because at any point of time, our master branch has the code that is deployed in the actual software. Next, don't touch master directly. Always we work in branches. So because a branch for a specific feature is independent of the whole code base before it, so we don't directly touch master. Next, one feature, one fix, one update equal to one branch. So this is one our one branch should contain the code related to one specific feature or fix whatever we are working on. This is because in short-lived branches are short-lived, so it will be easier to debug, easier to revert to the previous state. Next, commit often. So why we should commit often? Let's understand through a case study. So suppose you are working on a feature and you have done a hell lot of code, and since you are not committing since a long time, and you later after doing a hell lot of work, you committed your changes. So what will happen? Suppose you found that your code has something wrong and you cannot proceed further. You have to revert to the previous working state. So once you revert here, so you will lose a hell lot of code that you have written right now. But if you are committing too often, suppose you add some code snippets and you committed, so it will be easier for you to reset to the previous state, because you will not lose much of the code. So after this, always write good commit messages and branch names. So this is for the easy understanding of the fellow developers and all the people who are looking in your repository. So all your commit messages should be clear, precise, and it should be clearly explaining what we are doing in this commit. Similar for the branch names. Next, never merge your own PR. So it is like giving yourself a medal. You will never want that you are giving yourself a medal. So it is always better that get the review from your review fellow developers and maintainers of the project, and then you allow them to merge your code. Never merge your own PR. Next, delete the merged branches. So simple to understand. We have our branches merged. So all the code of these branches are done, and the purpose for which we created the branch is also completed. So we have to delete our branch. Next, don't use Git rebase when more than one developers are working. So since we discussed that rebasing is rewrites the commit history from the starting. So when more than one developers are working on the same branch, so if we use rebase, it will affect the other developers code. Next, we have done quite pretty much with our all the basic stuff. So let's explore GitHub. So what are its features? So basically, we are going to have a walkthrough around these stuffs: private and public repositories, labels, milestones, gests, profile, readme, actions. All these stuffs we are going to see. So let's go to github.com. So this is how screen looks like once you are logged in. So here we'll see a activity panel where it is showing all the activities from your followers, or once you are following. If you go to the profile tabs, so this is your profile, and here at the first you will see a profile readme. So this is the new feature that is recently added to GitHub. So here what we do, we create a repository with the same name as our username and create a readme file in this, and write the code in our readme file. So this repository is always pinned at the top of your profile. Next, we have some pinned repositories. So whatever repositories we want to display to our repository, to our profile front page, we pin our repositories here. Next, contributions. So contributions are important because it is the only thing that is showing how you are working with, how more you are contributing to GitHub and open source. So let's see how contributions are counted. So your contributions is counted only and only when your code is merged in the master. So if you are working on master, already your code is merged, so it is will be counted as a contribution. And if you are working in branches, so your code will not be counted until it is merged in the master. And also if you are working on a forked repository, then also your if you merge your code in the master of your fork, then also it will be not be counted, because it will be counted only once you merge in the original upstream repository master branch. So this is along with this, any pull request you create, any issues you create, any new repository you create, all of these will be counted as a contribution. After this, if we move to the repositories tab, it will list all the repositories that we have forked or that we have on our account. So let's use this repository for further exploration. So this is our repository. We have forked it, so it always tracks that it is up to date with upstream or not. We have here if we have all the commits here. So this is the commit that is lastly added in this repository. This is commit is for a specific folder or file. We have a readme that is appended already here in the last. If you create this history, we will see all the history of commits in our repository. If you want to check all the branches, we can simply click this branch icon, and we will see all the branches of this repository. Next, let's move to PR. So pull request, it will show all the list of pull requests that are in this repository. So let's check out this original upstream repository. If you go to issues here, it will show all the closed and open issues. Same for the pull requests. So if we go to actions, so what is actions? GitHub Actions is recently added a feature that is used to automate your workflow. So suppose you have worked on some specific technology, then you can use the workflow for that specific technology using these templates, and it will test, it will run and test your your code. once you create a pull request or once you push your code to the master to check if it is building properly or not. Otherwise, there are various workflows. You can directly write use a deploy script also. Next, this is a projects tab. So here we can create a project for our issue for our project. So suppose let's call it git demo project. So projects are basically like a workboard where you can keep track of your project, how it is going. You can use template. Let's use any of these templates. So here basically it created a template project for us. So you can use your to do here. You can use in progress work what you are currently working and what features are done. So it will you can track your issues and pull requests from here. And this is how you can manage your project. Next, wiki. So wiki is your you can say it is a documentation of your repository. You can add pages and create a complete docs for your website here. Oh sorry, for your repository here. Next, if we move to Insights tab, it will show the general insights and statistics about your repository. So what was the commits about pull requests, releases, all of these stuffs are here. If you go to contributors, it will show the list of contributors who have worked on this project. Same for the community traffic is here. It shows all the insights about how your repository is going to be visited by your profile on the web. Here we have some commits. So it is the basic commit history of your repository, how commit is being made in this repository. If you look at this network, so it is the like you can say the track of your repository. So this is our Dasykite repository, that is we call upstream. So here we will here it forms a network graph that how the working is happening in this repository. So here this is a fork. It has some commits here and it is merged here. So all the tracking of your repository is done here. Next, forks. So forks show how many people have forked your repository and what is their where they have forked the repository. So if you go to the settings tab, here settings have very much of options. You can set all the options related to your repository. Like here, a GitHub pages, it is a service that we can use to deploy our deploy our project to a github.io domain. So suppose if you deploy this repository, it will be create your username.github.io page, and you can access your readme, or if it is a website, then you can use your index.html to use this GitHub as a platform as a service. So these are some security options here. Similarly, all we have a hell lot of stuffs here, and the settings tab we can explore it further. So one thing we also have labels and milestones. So if you go to labels, these 9 are basically generally provided labels. We can create all our labels here, like production. We can create a label for issue. We can create any level so that we can track our issues and pull requests better. Same for milestones. We can set milestones for our project. So suppose in the first phase, we can create a phase-wise milestone or a feature-wise milestone that we can use to track the progress of our project. We are so let's it's quite enough. Later we can use your profile and explore what are the other features available here. Next, we have a student developer pack. It is offered by a GitHub. So if you are a student and you have a verified identity, then it is you can avail this benefit. So you can go to the site. Here you can click get your pack, add your identity and verify it. Then you can get a student developer pack. So it provides many benefits. It has it has various third party coupons, offers, and free services. So suppose here it is some offer for Microsoft Azure. You can buy a domain free for 1 year using name and .com and Namecheap benefits. So we have a DigitalOcean. So all the domains, all the benefits for services are here. You can avail them. So let's move to next thing, contributing to open source. So since now we are quite familiar with Git and GitHub. So let's see what should be the output of learning so much about Git and GitHub. So the end result is that end result is contributing to open source. So what is open source? We all know the code where the projects where we have a source code open, anyone can contribute to it, and anyone can make changes in them according to the related license with this. So question is, why should we contribute to open source? So we already have a video about open anatomy of open source. You can visit this video for more further in-depth knowledge. So for now, if we see the overview, we find this it is basically used for your practical knowledge, as we are working in this open source community. So we will learn a lot, and open source community is always helping you. So let's see where to get started with working with open source. So first you can search projects on GitHub. So if you go to GitHub, here you can search any project you want to contribute. You can search specific to your language. You can search any technology or any stuff you want to search. So you can use this all repository. So all the projects related to this Python will be shown here, and you can select any of them you want to explore, and you can contribute to it. Along with this, you can filter projects with the language here. After this, GitHub has a collection of some beginner projects. You can explore it. It has some already added some beginner projects where we can start contributing. Next, Hacktoberfest. So Hacktoberfest is a event that is organized by DigitalOcean every year in the month of October, where it is a challenge of completing 4 pull requests. So basically, it is a perfect kickstart for your open source journey. Next, we have a collection of open source programs that promotes open sourcing. So in this repository, you can find a compiled list of all the such projects or programs. So next, let's discuss how to contribute to open source. So suppose we have done a depth research. We have found the most suitable project that we can contribute according to our capability, and it suits best for our need to contribute to open source. So how to contribute to it? So the first thing, let's read all the documentation of the project. Read the contribution guidelines, code of conduct. So let's see a sample project here. So here it has a contributing.md file which will have all the documentation of how to contribute. So you have to go through it properly. Read me it has so all the documentation related to projects. The first step is reading about this. Next, according to the organization's workflow, we have to fork and clone our repository. Let's After this, we have to build the project on a local, and we will run this project first on the local and observe what is happening in the code. So after we run and we properly understand what is the actual code working, so then we are ready to contribute. So according to the organization's workflow, we create the branch, we make some changes, we create a pull request, and this same process we discussed about working in teams. So we will follow this. So for further exploration about how to contribute to open source and all the resources related to contributing to open source, you can refer to this free code camp repository. So it is a very good collection where we have all the things related to from scratch how to contribute to open source. So let's see some. We are quite familiar with all the stuffs related to Git and GitHub right now. So let's see some resources we can explore further if you were struck or if you need some further exploration. So first is Git Docs. It is the official Git documentation. You can go to this site. You can use the reference manual or download the book also. Here are some short videos. So if you go to the reference manual, you can find all the official documentation for every commit and every command. Next, GitHub cheat sheet. So cheat sheet are generally short cheat code where we find all the things we rely handily. So this is the official GitHub cheat sheet where we will get all the general commands that we use commonly. Next, we have visual cheat sheet. So this is also a cheat sheet which is visual. So here we will find all the workspace stash, index or repository. If we click at any part of the our workspace or repository, we'll find the all the commits we use in this, and on hovering over any commit we will find all the details about this about this command. After this we have GitHub docs. So these are official documentation of GitHub, so you can search related to the product. So let's read documentation about GitHub. So you will find there are various categories. You can use this documentation anytime. Next, GitHub guides. So these are some guides that are created by GitHub. So here you can see understanding the GitHub flow, hello world, getting started with GitHub pages. So you can use all of these guides to explore further and use all of these features. So that's all about this session. Hope you have you have gained much confidence about working and with Git and GitHub. So thank you for being an amazing audience till the end of this series, and I thank you all on the behalf of all Developer Student Club's Kite community. So keep learning, keep playing, and keep exploring. Thanks a lot.